Okay, let's take a look at the third rule, power rule. It says to raise a power to another power, we simply write the base and multiply the exponents. So let's see what that looks like. So here we have power raised to another power. And it simply says you write the base and you multiply the exponents. So m times n. Hope that makes sense. So let's see what it looks like applying the rule. So our first example, x to the third power raised to the power. So we're going to keep that base and multiply the exponents. 3 times 2. This is going to equal x 3 times 2 to the 6th power. Did that make sense? All right, let's try another one. It's being raised to the 4th power. Simply keep our base and multiply exponents. So 2 times 4. And this is equal to, keep my base, 2 times 4, 3 to the 8th power. Hope that makes sense to you. Okay, let's follow up with some examples for the power rule. So our first example, z to the 5th power is being raised by the 2nd power. According to the rule, it says write out the base. So I'm going to write out my base and multiply the exponent. 5 times 2, which will equal to z to the 10th power. Hope that makes sense. Let's try one more. 7 to the 5th power is being raised by the 3rd power. Write out the base, so 7, and multiply my exponents. 5 times 3, which will equal to 7, 5 times 3 to the 15th power. Hope that makes sense. Okay, let's look at the fourth rule, a power with an exponent of 1. So what that really means is when you have a power with an exponent of 1, it would always equal the base. I'm going to have m to the first power, that's a power of 1, would always equal the base. And that's all that is. So let's write some examples down. X to the first power would equal my base. Okay, let's try another one. 5 to the 1 power would equal the base. Hope you guys are catching on. It's pretty simple. Let's look at one more. 10 to the 1 power would equal the base. Pretty easy, huh? Let's take a look at another power rule. This is the expanded power rule. A quotient raised to an exponent. It says you raise each base in your numerator and your denominator. So let's see what that rule looks like. Numerator, denominator being raised to the m power. All right, let's apply that rule. Raise each base to the power. So x to the m, y to the m. Hope that makes sense. Let's take a look at example. I have x, numerator, denominator here is being raised to the 5th power. So let's work that out. So you raise each base to your exponent. So here's my base, x to the 5th, y to the 5th. All right, let's take a look at another example. 2x y is being raised to the 3rd power. Okay, once again, numerator, denominator is going to be raised to that power. So 2 to the 3rd, x to the 3rd, and y to the 3rd. Let's simplify this out. 2 times 2 times 2. That will leave me with 8. X to the 3rd and y to the 3rd. Hope that makes sense. Let's do a couple practice. Let's apply the rule. So let's look at the first example. I have b to the 2nd power, a to the 3rd. Okay, it's being raised by the 4th power. Okay, so let's apply the rule. So raise each base in the numerator, denominator to that power. So b, 2 times 4, and a to the 3rd, 3 times 4. So when we simplify that out, it's going to give us 2 times 4, that's 8. So b to the 8, and 3 times 4, 8 to the 12. Hope that makes sense. Let's look at another example. 3x y is being raised to the 3rd power. Okay, so raise each base in the numerator, denominator to that power. So I have 3 to the 3rd, x to the 3rd, y to the 3rd. Simplify that out. 3 times 3 is 9, 9 times 3, so that will leave me with 27, x to the 3rd, y to the 3rd. Hope that makes sense. Let's take a look at another power rule. This is an expanded power rule. Product to a power, we distribute to each base. So let's see what that rule looks like. That's my product. Is raised to my power m. Product to a power, so we're going to distribute my power to each of my base. So here's my base with my power. Here's my base with my power. Okay, so let's see what an example is going to look like. So here's my product raised to the 3rd power. Let's go ahead and apply the rule. So I'm going to distribute to each base. So 2 raised to my power 3, and a raised to my power 3. Now we can simplify right here. So 2 times 2 times 2 will give me 8, a to the 3rd power. Hope that makes sense. Let's try another one. So I have x raised to the 2nd power, y to the 4th power. So let's go ahead and apply the rule. Okay, to each of my base, raise it to that power. So x, I already have a power, so I'm still going to raise it. Times it by that 4, okay, power to a power, and y to the 4th. So let's just go ahead and simplify what's right here. So that will leave me x, 2 times 4, x to the 8th, and y to the 4th. Hope that's making sense. Remember, you can always pause, rewind, and look at this video as many times as you like. Okay, let's do a couple practice with the product to power rule. So our first example, product to power. Okay, so I'm going to distribute to each base. So I have 6, okay, to the second power, x to the third times 2. So simplify that out. 6 times 6, remember, exponent tells me how many times to multiply my base. So that leaves me with 36. And 3 times 2 to the 6th power. Hope that's making sense. Let's try another example. CD to the 4th power is being raised to the 2nd power. Everything to the base. C to the 2nd. D 4 times 2. Okay, let's simplify that out. C to the 2nd. D 4 times 2 to the 8th power. How about you try one? All right, let's see what you got. 2 to the 3rd. A 3 times 3. So you got 2 times 2 times 2, so that's 8. A 3 times 3 to the 9th power. Hope you got that. Hope it's making sense to you. Remember, you can always stop the video, okay, and rewatch as many times as you like. Okay, take a look at this table. This is providing that you have completely watched the video. I want you to provide examples for the power rule in addition to the power with exponent of 1. Copy all of this information in your ISN. Be ready to discuss in class.